Japan, 1827. A world completely closed to the outside. 250 years unchanged. A civilization perfect in its own completeness. About to be shattered forever. In the castle town of Kagoshima, a boy was born into a low-ranking samurai family. His name was Saigo Takamori. He read the samurai code like other boys read stories. He believed every single word. His closest friend was a boy named Okubo. They grew up together, trained together, believed in the same things. For now. Then, in 1853, 4 American warships appeared in Tokyo Bay, belching black smoke, twice the size of anything Japan had ever seen. 250 years of isolation ended in one afternoon. Japan fractured instantly. The old lords said, "Keep Japan as it is." The modernizers said, "Change everything or die." 2 visions, 1 nation, no compromise possible. Saigo chose the emperor. He believed that restoring imperial rule would unite Japan and preserve everything that mattered. He knelt before Emperor Meiji and gave everything he had. He proved to be the greatest military mind of his generation. He won battles nobody thought could be won. He persuaded enemies to surrender without bloodshed. He was brilliant and completely loyal. In 1868, the Meiji Restoration succeeded. The old shogunate fell. The emperor was restored. Saigo Takamori had done it. He had built modern Japan with his own hands. Then, the government he helped create began dismantling everything he believed in. Samurai rights abolished. The right to carry swords removed. Western clothing enforced. The ancient traditions erased overnight. It happened too fast for anything to survive. He sat in government councils and watched his world disappear piece by piece. Across the table, his childhood friend Okubo signed the decrees that ended the samurai world. They were still friends and completely opposed. In 1873, Saigo Takamori resigned. He placed his government seal on the minister's desk, turned around, walked out of modern Japan, and went home. In Kagoshima, he opened a school, teaching samurai values to young men who had no place in the new Japan. He found his purpose in a world that no longer needed what he was. In 1877, his students rose in rebellion against the Meiji government, against the modernization, against the erasure of everything Saigo had taught them. Saigo did not start it, but he could not abandon them. He sat alone between his government seal and his katana, between the Japan he built and the students he raised. There was no good choice, only which wrong he could live with, and which one he could not. He put on his armor. He stepped out of his house. The moment his students saw him standing there, some of them wept. He simply nodded and led them forward. In Tokyo, Okubo Toshimichi received the report, his childhood best friend leading the rebellion. He gave the order quietly and went to be alone. As Saigo marched, the common people lined the roads. Farmers bowed, women left food, children ran alongside. The people loved him, even as the government moved to destroy him. The battles were brutal. Samurai swords against modern rifles, courage against firepower. The ancient way of war meeting the future it had helped create. Month by month, the rebellion shrank. The government forces closed in from every direction, until 500 samurai stood surrounded on one hill in Kagoshima, with nowhere left to go. And still, not one of them surrendered. On the night before the final battle, Saigo Takamori sat on Shiroyama Hill in complete peace. He looked at the bay where he was born. He looked at the volcano that had watched his entire life. He looked at his students. The man who built modern Japan had chosen to die fighting against it. Not because he thought he could win, but because the code he had believed in since he was a boy left him no other choice. Tomorrow morning, 500 samurai would charge 30,000 rifles, not to win, but to die as samurai.